Hi and welcome to Josh's Bookish Voyage. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my Queer Lit TBR. For this, I actually have a stack of, I think, 8 or 9 books. I do not plan to read all of these, although I will sure as hell try. That said, for any book I don't read, I intend to carry it over to my June TBR. Hopefully I can get through all of them, or of course most of them, before the Lit Readathon is over. But if I don't, that's okay. I still intend to read them in the month of June. Most of these are going to be read by audiobook, but most of them I also have here on hand in a physical copy to show you. There are a couple which I own, which I want to read, but the physical copy is at my sister's because I haven't had a chance to visit them because of the pandemic, because I'm in Canada and they're in the States. That's sad, but I won't think about that anymore after now. Yep, that didn't work. I'm still thinking about it. I've decided to ignore my usual rule, which is to not let myself read books that I don't physically have with me, even if I am going to listen to them on audio, because of the fact that I know I won't be able to get those books for maybe a year. There's also going to be a couple arcs. Let's just talk about books. I want to talk about books. The first book is Ali Smith's Girl Meets Boy. I don't know a lot about this, but I know it is small and looks cute, and I'm hoping it's a cute story. I think it's supposed to be a retelling of a Greek myth. And while it says Girl Meets Boy, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be about a lesbian relationship. This isn't an audiobook, so this is one of the books I will be reading with my eyes for the most part. The next one is The Hours by Michael Cunningham. This one is a book. I think it's historical fiction, maybe general fiction. I don't remember. I watched the movie that is an adaptation with Meryl Streep, I think Amy Adams, and definitely Nicole Kidman. And part of the reason I chose this was just because I want to get to a general fiction book in June. The next one is a book that I wouldn't classify as purely queer, but apparently it has queer characters. This is going to be The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackworth. This is an adult urban fantasy, I think, which has to do with this library that's in hell or something, or maybe it's attached to hell. I started reading this in January because it was a book that I was really excited about, and then I was disappointed because the tone wasn't what I was expecting. It isn't the kind of tone that I wouldn't like, it just wasn't as realistic as I thought it would be. It's kind of like comparing Supernatural to The Haunting of Hill House. Both are really good in their own right, but it's definitely a different way of telling a story. So I'm hoping I like this more, knowing what to expect going in. The next one's going to be When the Moon Was Ours by Anne-Marie McLemore. And I know this is a YA magical realism book. I heard about this from Books and Lala. It's going to be my first ever Anne-Marie McLemore. I like A.S. King, and I'm hoping it gets a similar type of book. Speaking of A.S. King, what a coincidence. A.S. King's Ask the Passengers. I chose this one because I'm trying to read a A.S. King book every month until I get through all of them. I'm not sure what this is about. I think they're aliens. They're definitely queer characters. That's all I have to know. The last physical book I have to show is going to be Charlie Jane Anders' The City in the Middle of the Night. I do not know how much of this is LGBTQ. I just know that when I looked at Goodreads, in the extended genre section, a few people label this as LGBT. I think there's a good chance they did that because Charlie Jane Anders is trans, and even if that's the only reason, to me that's a good reason, because I've been wanting to read this book for a while. I read her other book, All the Birds in the Sky, which won I think a Hugo and a Nebula, and I adored that book. The mix of fantasy and science fiction is exactly what I love, just like in Middle Game right there. I adored it. I realized I didn't say what this is about because I don't really know. The next book I'm going to be reading is The Brightlands by John Fram. This is a literary fiction book set in a small town, and I don't know much more about that. I just know that it was a book that seemed interesting when I requested it on NetGalley. It's published July 7th, 2020. Since I requested it over 3 months ago, I do not remember what it's about beyond that. The last book I want to read is a book that is at my sister's house, and that is going to be Believe Me, a memoir of love, death, and jazz chickens by Eddie Izzard. This is a nonfiction memoir by the actor Eddie Izzard. While one of the main genres isn't listed as LGBT, it's definitely one in the subgenres if you extend the list. And personally, I think it should be in like a main genre to be LGBT, because in this book, Eddie Izzard talks about their experience being gender fluid I'm hoping to understand it better in their memoir. They have identified as transgender, as feeling somewhat boyish and somewhat girlish. He said he prefers either he or she, and I'm intrigued to see what she has to say. The audiobook is actually performed by her. If you've ever seen any of his work, I think it is spectacular. They are so amazing, and I adore him. I adore the work he does, the extravagance, and I also just am really interested in learning about his life. I really wanted to read this book for a while now, and that's part of the reason why I've chosen to include it in this list, even though I have too many books to read in a week's time. I haven't decided yet what challenges they're going to meet. That's secondary to the books that I want to read. I'm going to try and see which ones I can get these to satisfy during the vlog. Hey everybody, I am back again to tell you about one more book that just came in the mail that I plan on reading for the Queer Lit Readathon, and that is Alien Echo by Mira Grant, aka Shauna McGuire. Shauna McGuire is one of my new favorite authors. I need more horror by her, so I'm going to be reading this. Normally I'd be hesitant with YA horror, but I have read this is pretty graphic, so I'm hoping for some fun. And of course, there are LGBT characters in here, which is something I think Shauna McGuire uses a lot. So I'm excited. Now, how many does that put me at? Is that what, 8 books? 2 of those are not by audio. So is that feasibly possible? Probably not. Is it attainable? Maybe. I mean, I have done worse. I've listened to, I think, 7 Stephen King audiobooks in a week before, and those things are fucking long. So I'm pretty confident that I can get through these if I really push myself. And like I said, if I don't, it isn't the end of the world. June is 30 days long, right? Yes, 30 days long. I'll read those at a different time in the month. As I speak right now, it is a Wednesday, just a few days before the Queer Lit Readathon begins, and I am so excited, and I hope y'all are too. Now let me know what y'all are reading for the Queer Lit Readathon. And as always, stay safe, and I cannot wait till I see you next time. Bye.